King of the Road. Thanks for watching the 170th episode of the King of the Road Show. I'm Jim King. It's hard to believe that we've already been on the air almost 3.5 years. During this program, we'll air our exclusive concert footage and interview with Wade Bowen at the Dixie Dance Hall in downtown Beaumont. We'll also visit with Larry's old-time Trade Days owner, Larry Barron, about their winter extravaganza, which will take place at the Trade Days grounds on November 20th through the 22nd. But first, we'll cruise to Silsbee to check out EJ's Clocks. No lie, EJ's Clocks is located on Tick-Tock Lane. Anyway, it's a long story, and we'll tell you more about that later. Ride shotgun with me and hold on tight as we cruise to Silsbee.
One man has the power to take you behind the scenes. Jim King of the Road.
Jim King of the Road.
We recently cruised to Silsbee to visit with EJ Duvail of EJ's Clocks. Believe it or not, EJ's little shop is located on Tick-Tock Lane. EJ loves his work, and he and his trusty companion Macy set their own hours.
It's the only bad thing about cable clocks is they get all tangled once you take the weights off of them.
Duvail spends a lot of time tinkering with timepieces in his shop. Some are old and some are new. People from all over have been trusting EJ with their clocks for years. The constant ticking and talking might drive some folks cuckoo, but not EJ Duvail. Clocks are his passion.
I used to sell clocks and service them all over the whole area.
How'd you get into that?
Well, it was kind of... Years ago, my hobby was woodworking. I worked on office machines for a living all day long. And so, everybody needs a hobby. So I started building little shelves and knickknacks and stuff. And I kept wanting to do something bigger and better. So I built a little small grandfather clock. It's actually called a grandmother clock. And people in this town of Silsbee found out about it, of course, by me talking about it, because I was proud of what I was doing. And one of the little local newspapers here in town at the time, they wanted to do a little human interest story. So they come out to my house and took a picture of me standing by the clock and did a little interview. And then when that hit the streets, everybody and their brother wanted me to work on their clock. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. And I just started on my kitchen table. Like I say, in '02, I had open heart surgery, and I created this little, so it was a little tool shed, actually, and turned it into a shop. And it's just been going good ever since. Mm-hmm. Of course, one thing that's helped me is I've been in this area for over 40 years. So I wasn't like, Johnny-come-lately moving in, and because people are very, very worried about their property. When they bring their clocks,
these are heirlooms.
They're heirlooms, just like your clock. It's priceless, and a lot of people they're kind of hesitant. You can tell when they walk in, they're carrying it wrapped up in a towel or a blanket,
like a baby.
Yes, and they just very careful. And over the years, like I say, I guess I've developed a trust with people, and you can see my shop is full of clocks. I mean, I've got some of your clock is old. I've got several of them over there that were built in the 1840s.
Right.
And,
yes, EJ's been working on my mantle clock too, a Seth Thomas that dates back to the mid-1800s, which recently quit ticking. The clock has actually been in my family since it was new. It was a housewarming gift from my mother when I bought my home here in Southeast Texas. My mom has fond memories of listening to that clock when she visited her grandfather's house as a little girl. I got out the phone book and looked up EJ's Clocks in Silsbee. I figured since the shop was located on Tick-Tock Lane, EJ would have to know what he's doing.
this is the 8-day. See, they're kind of scarce.
About 1855.
I have a 1-day over there. Not, it's not as big as this, but it's wedged in there.
There it is.
With a patient mind and steady hands, EJ went to work on my old clock. Clock repairmen are part mechanic and part surgeon.
Why do you think this thing stopped ticking?
I wondered what makes a clock stop ticking.
Well, it's a combination of things. The oil gets old and gritty and gummed up, and it just kind of slows things down. Some of it is because the clock is not level. A pendulum clock has to be leveled in order to tick. See, like that right there, that tick tock. Well, if you have it out of level, it won't stay running.
Of course, EJ Duvail has become somewhat of a historian during his years of repairing old clocks.
See, one way to tell that this clock is real old is the way it's put together with pins. So, then another thing that makes this clock different from most of them is the way the frame is made. It's made like a lyre, and there's a engraving of an eagle right here, which is the same engraving that's on the glass. Seth Thomas, Plymouth, Connecticut, USA. See, and so that tells me that this clock was made before they changed the name to Thomaston, Connecticut, which it is today. It used to be called Plymouth, Connecticut, but to honor Seth Thomas, they chose to change the name. So this clock was probably made in the 1850s, 1860s, somewhere around there.
It's the King of the Road Show. We'll continue our visit with EJ Duvail of EJ's Clocks in Silsbee next. Coming up later, we'll visit with Texas country singer-songwriter Wade Bowen.
Listen, we've been waiting for 5 years with 4 hurricanes to try and do a winter extravaganza.
We'll also cruise to Larry's Old Time Trade Days in Winnie to visit with owner Larry Barron about the upcoming winter extravaganza, November 20th through the 22nd.
King of the Road.
It's the 170th episode of the King of the Road Show. I'm Jim King. By the way, you can jumpstart your Christmas shopping next weekend, November 20th through the 22nd, at Larry's Old Time Trade Days in Winnie as they present the Winter Extravaganza. It'll definitely be a worthwhile road trip with plenty of things to do and see at the family-oriented event. Anyway, here's Larry's Old Time Trade Days owner Larry Barron to tell you more.
Listen, we've been waiting for 5 years with 4 hurricanes to try and do a winter extravaganza. This is our 5th anniversary coming up in February. We want to give back to our public, give an opportunity to come out here and do some Christmas shopping. We're going to have a gumbo cook-off. We're going to have a car show, a swap meet, a regular trade days on top of it with live entertainment. And it's going to be Ricky Dodd and Simply Cajun, who's a great Cajun band with a real flair. The people are going to love it. He's great to dance to. He's very entertaining, great stage presence. We have a lot of the people in the community involved. We've got Doge Rice involved with this. We've got Zumo Sausage, Budweiser, Miller Lite. I mean, community people and all the businesses in the community, Tex Joy, have jumped in and they're really supporting us. The Optimist Club is involved in this transaction. We've got the American Legion involved, the Volunteer Fire Department from Winnie Stoll. I mean, it's just a major happening for us here. And Jim, like I said, you're always a tremendous supporter for us, and we really appreciate everything you do for us.
Thank you, Larry. That's Larry Barron. We're at Larry's Old Time Trade Days, the 20th through the 22nd. The Winter Extravaganza has been planning it for years. We're finally doing it. No hurricane in 2009, so
we're ready.
We're ready. A lot of the vendors are going to be here. You got a swap meet. You got the car show.
Yes,
you have a gumbo cook-off. It is going to be an extravaganza.
It's awesome. It is an extravaganza, Jim, and thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Really
Larry.
appreciate you.
We hope to see you at the Winter Extravaganza in Winnie next weekend. King of the Road Productions will be on hand capturing video and stills, and I'll be helping out with the emceeing. Coming up later in this program, we'll air our exclusive concert footage and interview with Texas country troubadour Wade Bowen. But first, we'll wrap up our visit with E.J. Duvail. Of course, E.J. did a great job with my old mantle clock. And if you have an antique clock or even a new one in need of cleaning or repairs, give E.J. a call at 409-385-2111. Tell him King of the Road sent you. Now join me as we cruise back to Silsbee. We're wrapping up our visit at E.J.'s Clocks in Silsbee, located on Tick-Tock Lane. In the last segment, E.J. Duvail was taking apart the inner workings of my old Seth Thomas mantle clock.
Now from here, I'm going to go over there and put it in the tank to wash it. This is an ultrasonic cleaner.
E.J.'s ultrasonic cleaner heats up to around 120 degrees. That cuts all of the oil, dirt, and grease off the mechanisms. They'll soon be as clean as new. E.J. then polishes all the parts on his buffing wheel. It was just a few days later that E.J. personally delivered the finished clock to my home.
Hey! Hey, Jim. Got your clock ready? E.J., come on in. Watch the dog. What's the man-eating dog there? Got it here.
After a short stay at E.J.'s Clocks on Tick-Tock Lane in Silsbee, my old Seth Thomas was back home on its mantle. Thanks to E.J. Duvail, we'll be enjoying its rhythmic ticking, tocking, and hourly gongs for years to come.
What's the oldest clock you've had here?
Probably one of these French clocks that was built in 1840, 50. I found an inscription inside of one of the on the mainsprings where someone scratched their name. It was a French name, and the date was 1891, I think it was.
Do you own some antique clocks yourself?
Not really. I have good friends that are collectors, and I do their clockwork. But I don't know. You know, if I can sell it, I'll sell it. I have one old. It was an advertising clock. It hangs in my kitchen. It's it says "Time to buy Calumet." It's to advertise Calumet baking powder, and I promised my son's fiance, if they ever get married, I would give it to her. so we'll see.
They keep you company on that TikTok.
Yeah.
Doesn't drive you cuckoo?
No. Like I told someone else, sounds like money to me. And you know, I keep an ear out for, you know, the ones that I just worked on to see if they're striking right and showing the right time, and I go around and regulate them. Every morning when I come in, I check all of them, see if they're keeping time.
Can you tell us a story about how this became Tick-Tock Lane?
Well, you probably need 2 shows for me to tell you that. And
as E.J. tells it, the street was originally called Nicky's Lane, but kids kept stealing the sign. One day, a child in the neighborhood had a seizure, so the local homeowners got together and decided to change the name of the street, and one of them suggested Tick-Tock Lane.
My good friend Glenn Barnhill, he come up to me and asked me what I wanted to name it. I said, I don't care. He said, well, what about Tick-Tock Lane? Ha ha. She laughed. I said, no, Glenn, don't do that, because people will think I wanted it that way. And this was before I had my shop here at my house.
Hope you've enjoyed our visit with E.J. Duvail of E.J.'s Clocks in Silsbee. Thanks to E.J., my old Seth Thomas is just a ticking and a talking. Coming up next, Texas country troubadour Wade Bowen.